This tornado was located in Worcester, Massachusetts, June 9, 1953. This deadly tornado was caused by a cold front coming from the east and a warm front coming from the west. This tornado started in Flint, Michigan, which then spread over to Worcester.
The tornado was classified as an F4 tornado with F5 damage. It had winds from 207 miles per hour to 260 miles per hour. This deadly tornado was almost 1.5 hours long and killed almost 100 civilians. This tornado left 10,000 people homeless and 4,000 homes demolished. It caused the most damage in terms of cost in the United States at the time, costing over $52 million in damage.
There is a memorial for all the taken lives at the Quinsigamond Community College. Buses, storage tanks, and more flew wildly in the air. In the small 1950s town of Worcester, there were few hospitals and it was hard to get help. The local people, the nurses, the police, the National Guard, and the Red Cross came in immediately to help the scary situation.
My grandmother, Catherine Karpinski, was a survivor of the tragedy and would like to share her story. How did you know the tornado was coming with not a lot of communication?
So I was an infant when the tornado hit, but my father often told the story that it had been a warm and muggy day and the weather forecast had been for possible thunderstorms. As he heard the approaching storm, he could hear bending and creaking of the trees. And as he looked at the trees, he saw them bending in half, and he had never seen that before. So it was through the trees that he could see that something was happening that he was not aware of. And he took our family to the cellar.
Okay. So you guys went to the cellar to take cover, right?
We went to the cellar because that would be the lowest point in the house. And it also protected us because the windows that were in the cellar were small. We went to the furthest part of the cellar where there were no windows, and we stood and huddled as a family.
So when you went to the cellar, could you hear what was above?
Again, I was an infant. The story that I'm told is that they could hear the roaring similar to that of a train coming through.
How did the storm affect your house and the area around?
Our house had extensive damage when my father and older brother walked up the stairs from the cellar. The entire roof was off the house. The windows were all blown out, and there was debris from our house and other items that had been carried in the wind, left in our home and across the backyard, including a wash machine that did not come from our home, that was right outside of one of the windows as they came up the stairs.
Wow. So did this change how grateful you were for things or how you felt about things?
My parents never put a lot of value in things as we grew up anyway, but I think that the idea that you used items and that you wore clothing and that you didn't save them for a special time, because in their way, they saw all of the things that they thought were, shall we say, treasures or important, destroyed within minutes.
Wow.
How did your town try to help with the damage, or what did they try to do to help with the situation?
We were very fortunate that there was a National Guard, and that was a group of people who were meeting at their planned time that evening. And they came together and they put a plan in place to come and to patrol the area of the city where we lived that had been damaged by the tornado. So they stood guard, and they needed to do this to be able to keep people who were coming just to see what had happened and people who were coming to loot the area. As any disaster, there are many things that are happening simultaneously. So that the goal of having the area protected so that only the people who lived there would be there was very important. Of course, there was much in the way of damage, including trees and buildings that covered all places of streets, the power lines that were down. And so that people had to come together to be able to get through, just to be able to see who the injured were and who the deceased members of the community were.
Wow. Is there anything else you would like to add?
I think it's important that we realize that in times like this, it is the neighbors who help out each other, and it is the people who are there in the moment who have to step up to the plate and be able to take the initiative to see that the people that need their attention get it immediately, and that is the way that many lives were saved on this day.
Wow.
Thank you. We learned that this community was not prepared for all of this destruction, since this type of weather disturbance is not common in the area.
However, the community made a fast recovery, restoring all the power and phone lines within 2 weeks. Over time, homes and businesses were rebuilt, and Worcester became the beautiful town it once was.